Okay. Well, I'll take over then, I guess. So we'll call the meeting at CF for August 2022 to order. And could we please have the roll call?
Abendroth. Bryant.
Here.
Cassava.
Here.
Crosby. DeFonce. Drennan.
Here.
Fairchild. Latta. LePage. Lamonto.
Here.
Mandeville.
Here.
McDonald. Roland.
Here.
Valencourt.
Here.
Yando. Requests to be excused were received from Dorothy Latta, Lonnie Fairchild, Linda Crosby, Gail LePage, and Jennifer Yando. And we have a quorum.
Very good. So the first thing on our agenda I see is the approval of the August of our agenda. So is everybody approved? I don't know if that's a formality or I've never done this before. Excuse my
We
dog.
usually-
She's in here bugging me.
Usually do a vote on it. There was something I needed to bring up.
Okay,
As I was reviewing the minutes of the July 25th meeting, there was our vote on the Central Library Services Aid budget. And it came through with 7 ayes and an abstention. And according to our bylaws, motions have to be approved by a majority of the board. So it takes all 8 if that's how many people are in the meeting. And we approved it when we probably should have not approved it. It should have failed. So I'm proposing that we make it that change in the minutes and then add a vote today under unfinished business.
Okay.
any discussion on Steve's proposal?
No.
All those in favor of amending our agenda for today, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we've amended our agenda. So next, we need to approve the minutes that Steve was referring to from last meeting. Any discussion on the minutes from last meeting? Anything noticed by anybody?
Just the one thing I mentioned.
Right, just the one. Okay, with that said, all those in favor of approval of the minutes of the July 25th, 2022 meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Those opposed? Any abstentions? It's passed. So there are no reports from our committees, it appears, this week. So next we have our public comment period. Any public available to comment at the Dannemora Library?
Nope.
Okay. Any other public notifications we need to be made aware of? Okay, we'll move on to communications. Brenda, do you want to handle that?
Yes, I actually have 2 articles that were written. The first one was an article from Senior Planet, which highlighted Norma Menard. She's a co-director of the Morris Free Library, and how she brought Senior Planet's free computer classes for seniors to the library, and how at this point it's been drawing more and more people into the library, and how well she thought the program was going overall. And a second article was written in the Adirondack Daily Enterprise, and it highlighted the new library director for Saranac Lake Free Library. It was Jacob Widrick. He was taking over for Pete Benson, who just recently retired. it highlighted his education, prior accomplishments as library director previously, and how the love for the area made him the obvious choice for the position, and that came from their board director. And that's pretty much it. And that's all
Very
I have.
good. Well, not knowing I was going to be standing in for the president today, I don't have any remarks prepared. And I don't think any were sent forward, so I think we can move forward from that part of our agenda. The Plattsburgh Public Library report. I know it was sent to us via email, but do you have any more, anything you want to elaborate on?
No, I think that's it, unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions on the report you all received earlier this week? Or last week, I should say?
No.
Okay, very good. Director's report?
Okay, I do have some items that I included in the written report, but I need to make a change on one of those. Our new library clerk, who was supposed to begin today, ended up being a no-show, and we have not been able to contact her.
Wow.
So there's a big question mark on that right now. However, the other points are still valid. I want to mention a little bit Anya's work with the correctional institutions. That's a major stressor for her at this time of year. We have to execute contracts with each of the correctional institutions for the services we'll provide over the next year. She did a lot of front-end work that made the negotiations go very smoothly. She deserves our kudos.
Steve, are those correctional institutions only state facilities, or does it include the county jails?
No, the county jails are separate.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions on anything I brought up? Okay, then I'm done.
All right, Michael, the financial reports.
I had the amended report from last month. I have been really working on the annual report on closing that. Steve and I finally got that approved through the state. And it took a lot of time this last month to work on this draft proposed operating budget to be sent to the counties. We also had some reports that we have to prepare for the counties, and the two that are coming up are much more involved than the Franklin. So that is why you only have the one report there. I am currently working on the next month, and should have it done by the end of the week, and I'll have it out to you.
Any questions for Michael on the financial report? Okay, so then I'll entertain motions to approve Michael's financial reports that he submitted to us presently.
Also,
Okay, Mary makes, seconded by Andy. Okay, all those in favor of approval of the financial reports as submitted to us via email, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Committee reports, the Finance Committee, and I'm sure Michael wants to chime in on this, wants to present our proposed 2023 annual budget.
Or do you want to do it? Do you want me to start? Hope and you finish, or?
Sure, if you want. Either way.
Okay, what I did for next year's budget, and the big reason why we had to do this budget again was for the county budget request. This is one of the things they like to see, you know, to see where we're spending our money and how we're spending our money and from what funding streams. These numbers are as close as I can get right now. The ones that are still in question is our night shift health insurance, our Medicare B reimbursement. We just received the numbers on the management confidential insurance. We have to increase that a little bit. The salaries that are included, these are from the union contract that we do have in place for the next 3 years. So those are basically in concrete, you know, that's what they'll be. The only ones that might vary is some of the van drivers. So, you know, sometimes they take, you know, other people's, you know, days, so it moves a little bit. But for the most part, I've got the numbers up to, you know, what, you know, like our gas, our vehicle fuel, you know, I increased that because, you know, we already paid almost $4,000 this year for vehicle fuel. And as you know, it is a lot higher than it was last year. Also, another part that needs to be reviewed and approved is Steve and I conferred, and we felt that we should ask the counties for a 10% increase over the 2022 amount that was approved by them. The reason is inflation and, you know, the increased cost of other, you know, our major items like vehicle fuel, and, you know, there is some personnel increase. So that's what I'm proposing.
All 3 counties?
All 3 counties, yes, 10%. Last year we got all the 5% from Essex. We got, I think, 2% from Franklin, and Clinton gave us 5% of the 10% that they took away from us in 2020. Yeah, 2020. No, 2021. Sorry. So any questions? Or again, you know, this is a proposal just for the counties. If you want, you know, we can approve it, but, you know, then as we get closer to the end of the year, we can, you know, if you want, have me do another one and we'll revote. You can revote, you know, to have that as our budget for 2023.
So do you want me to propose for this temporary, or?
The closer to the end of the year, you know, really the only numbers I'm going to get is that the New York health insurance plan, but that is a big part of our health insurance because it's 18 retirees, 4 active. So, you know, we're talking 22 people. And, you know, if it goes up 10%, you know, that's going to be a large increase. So, you know, but like I said, most of the numbers I feel very confident about.
Well, go ahead.
We need to make those proposals for increases to the county as soon as possible, correct? Clinton County's doing their budget right now and approves it this month for next year.
Yeah, Franklin County already asked it for us, and that was due on August 12th. We have one due September 9th and September 14th, Essex and Franklin, and they take a little more work Franklin does.
Right.
Clinton, right?
What's that, Hope?
Essex and Clinton, right? We already did Franklin.
Right. I apologize if I misspoke. If I misspoke.
Well, I propose we approve the budget for 2023. Anybody?
I'll second that.
Okay. So I think it's back to you, Tom.
Any questions?
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to approve the budget as proposed to us today. Obviously, knowing that the healthcare costs are, we won't know what those are until November, December, night shift anyway, because I know from experience. So all those in favor of approving the budget as presented to us today, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
I also
So do
propose,
we need to approve these requests that go to the counties, or is that, was
Yes,
that
we need
for our
to-
information?
We need to have a motion that says the board has asked for 10%.
Okay,
I make a motion that we make a request for 10% from each of the counties.
Tim seconded that.
okay. So the motion on the floor is to propose a 10% budget increase from all three of our sponsor counties. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Thank
Can I
you.
ask, do we have the 8 people that we need to pass these today? I mean, I only
Yes.
see, what's online.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we have 2 here present
Oh, good.
at Dannemora.
Okay, good question, though. We don't have to go through this again. So we move on to unfinished business. Our first listed item is the video conferencing policy review as unfinished business. Do you want to refresh our memories on that, Steve?
This is the policy that will allow us some limited flexibility in video conferencing for board meetings after the governor's state of emergency has been lifted. I don't know if you saw the article in the Press Republican that the governor's getting some pressure, remove those state of emergency contingencies. That's probably, we're getting closer to that anyway. So last month, we passed a resolution that said we could have a policy. And this month, we're asking if you to approve the policy that we presented last month, which is created off a model policy by the Open Government Committee. I don't know, COOG or something, GOOC. And so it's the policy is taken from their language, so we know it is compliant with law. And so today we're going to try to pass that policy. And if so, it will become the rule for after the governor lifts the state of emergency. Are there any questions about what the policy was? Did you bring your notes from last week or last month? Basically, I'll tell you basically what the policy does. You need to have a quorum present in this place where the meeting is being held. If you have that quorum present, then board members with, forgotten the word, special circumstances can ask to join the meeting by video conference. And that can be put in the notice, and the board member can then attend and vote on the business. The big change from pre-COVID is that it used to be that if a board member wanted to video conference, that their home or wherever they're doing the video conference from had to be listed as a public place. And if public wanted to go into your home and watch, they could. This kind of gets around that requirement. But if we do offer it by video conference, we do have to allow the public to video conference in also. Anyway, it's a little bit convoluted, but basically that's what the policy provides.
Can you go over that last part again? If you offer video conferencing, it's open for public to access as well?
Yeah, if you're going to do the video conferencing, the link has to be posted with the meeting.
Ooh.
And so if you're going to do any video conferencing, you have to allow the public to do that also.
Okay. Does that make
You might-
connect?
You might get
a little
public comment then.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Does that risk exceeding Zoom capacity?
I would doubt that very much.
Okay.
What do we get, 500 seats or something?
Room of 100 for ours.
100. Yeah, so tell all your friends and neighbors to join in with
Right. It'll be a riveting time.
us.
But someone can only Zoom in if there is a quorum physically present at the meeting.
Right.
Okay. Do you need a motion on that?
Yes.
I'll make the motion to accept
Okay,
the
we
conferencing.
have a
policy.
motion, second by Andy.
No.
Any further discussion? Okay. The motion on the floor is to approve our new video conferencing policy that would go into effect once the governor lifts the emergency measures associated with COVID. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. So now, Steve, I'll let you take over with your amended part of the new unfinished business.
This is about the Central Library Services Aid. We tried to approve last month, half of it. We were unclear on some of the restrictions that might be lifted, but they are not being lifted yet. So we'll have the rest of it coming soon. But the part that we tried to approve last month was a total budget for $100,357. That's what we would get for Central Services Aid. And that has been approved by the PPL board.
I believe you all approved it prior to us approving it.
What we had was a situation where we only had 8 members present last month, and they approved that, but there was one abstention, and so there wasn't a majority of the board So we're re-voting on it today.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve it as presented.
I'll second.
I'll second. Okay, all those in favor of approving the aid package that we previously approved last meeting, but were held up by one abstention, say aye.
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 Any, anybody against this? Any abstentions this time? So moved. So now we have new business, the lost and damaged book policy.
This would, the current and proposed policies were mailed to you as part of your packet. Essentially what happened is we had a situation come up and it was unclear how we should deal with it according to the existing policy. So we have, it was time to revise the policy anyway. It's been since, I think, 2015. So it's a 7-year-old policy. It was time to look at it again. Essentially, the changes convert bullet points into a more detailed narrative. So it got a little more wordy, but it helps us understand what we need to do to charge our libraries for lost or damaged books.
Marcy?
Any questions on the policy revival or renewal, whatever it is?
Hallelujah. Is this a revival?
The revisions
There we go.
as presented in the packet.
Looks reasonable to me.
It looks pretty straightforward when I looked at it. Okay, I'll entertain motions to approve the new lost and damaged book policy.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of approval of the new lost and revised damaged book policy, say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Okay, so it looks like we're ready to adjourn. Before we adjourn, I want to thank the Dannemora Library for sponsoring this meeting and having those who were able to make it there come in and look at their facility. So without, oh,
Tom,
Anna?
Can I say one thing?
Oh.
I went to that John Brown Lives book fair for children's books there, and there was a wonderful little table there by the Clinton Essex Franklin group there, and they were presenting things to young children, and they were doing such a great job, and it was a wonderful event. But that Clinton Essex Franklin group had it set up nicely and interacting with the kids, and were very nice. Just want to say that.
very good to hear.
Anya reported 68 contacts from that fair, the people that she talked to.
Very good.
Ann?
are you going to approve the member library construction grants today?
So
David,
that won't be today.
oh. So it'll be next month?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was just curious because the start date for the projects is as soon as I guess it's as soon as we've submitted them to you, or is it when you've approved them?
It's actually based on the approval.
So it's another month.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Any other questions or comments?
Bill
Yes.
Harris. Okay, I have a question. that I don't know if this is the right place to ask. I'm curious, is there a separate Plattsburgh Library Board? I know we've talked about how it seems Plattsburgh centric, so I'm curious why, no offense to Anne, like I love seeing her, but why we have a Plattsburgh Director's Report, but not from any other libraries?
It's
She is our
because-
central library
Yeah,
Okay,
and has a special relationship because of that.
okay.
She is an ex officio member of the board.
I have a friend who's on the North Country Library Board, so I talked about it with her and she's like, that never happens. Like maybe 10% of the time, a random director will come because they have a concern, but we do not have a special relationship with our central library. So I was just curious.
We have a special.
Okay. Because if that's a concern of the board, that we seem very Plattsburgh focused, like part of it is because we get to hear from her every month and we're not hearing from other libraries every month.
and North Country had co-central libraries up until recently, so that may have been part of the, having two different directors reporting, I'm not sure.
Right. I wonder if it's worth inviting others in, like on a rotating basis or something.
We do have a directors association that also has a ex officio seat on the board. They report less often.
Okay.
But they could report every meeting if they wanted to.
Right. I don't think
Get
anyone's
involved
complaining.
With that group,
Mhm.
they have that option. In the past, when I was, I've been a board member a long time. The person used to attend our meetings every time. So that's something that could be revived and happen.
We haven't been meeting as regularly. We met earlier this summer, but there wasn't really anything to report. We're trying to meet again just to keep all the new directors in the loop, to kind of help CEF to transition new people.
Very good. Sounds like maybe you got some interested parties in another meeting then. Any other closing comments? Well, with that said, I think we can adjourn the meeting. Thanks for putting up with me. I wasn't ready to lead this meeting, but whatever.
You did
Did a
fine.
great job.
care.
It did fine.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Tom.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
And now let me go before they throw me out. Okay, ciao.
Other thing is we're a federated library system.
And they're not.